So let's go ahead and get started with our yummy stretch flow today. We're going to focus on back, neck, and shoulders, taking it a little easy. And if at any point it feels too intense for you or too light for you, feel free to change it up. This is your time, this is your practice, and I'll be offering some options on both ends of that spectrum. Okay, so go ahead and find a child's pose to start. Now, sometimes child's pose can be a little uncomfortable for different body types. So if you have sensitive knees, for example, you can just stay on top of your knees with your hips lifted and go into more of like a puppy pose with a supported forearm down. So like this position here where you have nice stretch in your back, but your forearms are supported. And if it feels good, you can press your hips back to get a little bit of a stretch. But if you want to go into a forward position, you can press your hips back towards your heels. You can either have your knees separate to create space for your belly to relax, or you can have them together to release your lower back a little bit more. So take a deep breath into your belly, wherever you are. Exhale out your mouth. Let it go. Take another deep breath into your belly. This time, as you exhale, stick your tongue out your mouth. Lion's breath. One more of those. Inhale into your belly. Exhale, stick out your tongue. Nice. Inhale, place your weight into your hands. Rise on up to your knees if you're not there already. We'll start to wake up our hips here. So I like to snake my spine. You can keep it straight if that feels better for you. Maybe wagging your tail, gazing over your left shoulder, shifting sides, gazing over your right. You might feel a little bit of a stretch in between your hip crease and your core, the side of your rib cage here. Exhale, come back to neutral. Nice. We'll start to get into our hips a little bit more. So you can press back through your hips. Again, modifying this feels good to your body. Then inhale, reaching them forwards. Exhale, rounding back. Hips go towards your heels. Inhale, sink forwards, back to tabletop. One more this direction, pressing back. Rounding forwards, exhale, neutral. Switch direction. So inhale, press back towards your left or counterclockwise, or whichever direction you didn't do. Back to center. One more time here. You can start to get your head and neck involved if that feels good. Maybe rounding your neck and then lifting it as you come back up. So it's more of an intuitive movement here rather than like trying to nail a specific pose. If you want to add in a cow with your hip swivel, you can do that, dipping your belly down, gazing up. Exhale, round your back. Inhale, dip your belly down. Exhale, press back. Inhale, excuse me, come back to a neutral spine. We're going to start to get into our back a little bit more. So press your weight into your left hand. Inhale, reach your right arm up. And it's not about cranking your body open. It's just going as far as feels good. So you can also stop at 90. Exhale, thread the needle. So drawing your right arm underneath your armpit. Slowly lower your head to your mat. You might feel a twist in your back body, your torso. Breathe into it. And again, if this is too intense, you can modify by just bending and pressing your forearm into the mat. It's a little bit less of a twist. Inhale, come back to central. Exhale, wiggle it out. To the other side. So inhale, lift your left arm up. Again, you don't have to go super wide here. You can be at 90. Breathing in. Exhale, scoop your left arm underneath here. You can rest all the way on the back of your head or above your left ear. Or if you want some more support, just press your forearm into your mat to create more space, and it will lessen the intensity of your twist. Take a deep breath in. Exhale out. One more of those, inhale, exhale, let it go. Nice. Inhale, unwind, come back to tabletop. Whew. Now hopefully we're a little bit more awake here. Press your hips back to rest on your heels. Now, if that feels uncomfortable for you, you can find a cross-legged seat instead. So whichever version feels good. Press your hands behind you, interlace your fingers, press your palms together, show your shoulder blades away, lift your heart. Exhale, chin to chest. So this is a really great stretch for the back of your neck, for your shoulders. I know that was a big request today. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. So it's not about getting your head all the way to the ground, although if that's available to you, you can. It's more about rounding your upper back here as you lift your arms. Show your shoulder blades away. Exhale, stack your spine again. A little bit of core work here to support your spine. Inhale, lift your heart up, your head up. Exhale, separate your hands, shake them out, let it go. And come forward onto your hands and knees again, tap out your feet. You're in a cross-legged position, come join us, hands and knees. Tuck your toes underneath here. We'll press our hips up to the sky. Now, we're gonna go into a bent-legged downward facing dog today. This is really supportive for low back. So keeping your knees bent really deeply here. Again, you can have a wide downward facing dog as well. You can also have a narrow one. So if it's too much pressure on your wrists, which is a really common complaint, just walk your hands closer to your feet. So it's almost like you're in a forward fold, but you're modifying here with your downward dog. Take a deep breath into your belly. Exhale out your mouth. Let's do one of those lions breaths. So inhale into your belly. Exhale, stick out your tongue. Nice. Inhale, walk your hands back to your feet, finding a forward fold. Again, knees nice and bent here to release the back of your legs. So you're not straining your hamstrings. You can interlace your hands into your elbow creases if that feels supportive for you. Nod your head yes, shake it no. Deep breath in, exhale out. If it feels good and you want a little bit more, you can interlace your hands, place them behind your head. So gentle pressure here, a little bit of weight into the back of your head just to release your neck even more. Inhale, release your hands down. Exhale, flop it out. Inhale, press your weight into your heels. Your toes might lift here. Start to stack your spine, rolling up. Super slow, chin tucked. Rise up, shoulders down your back. Inhale, float your hands to the sky. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Inhale, float your hands back up. Exhale, bow forwards. Again, you can bend your knees as soon as you need to. Inhale, hands to your shins, flat back. Exhale, go ahead and plant your hands into your mat. Again, you can bend your knees as much as you need to reach the floor. You can even rest your chest on your thighs if that's available to you. Take a deep breath in, tuck your chin to your chest. So you're making yourself into a little ball. If you want to go into a full Malasana variation, you can step your feet wider, sink your hips low. But if you have any knee sensitivity like me, just stay here with a supported version. Exhale, straighten your legs, flop it out. Inhale, bend your knees, stack your spine once again. Slowly rising up, shrug your shoulder blades down. Inhale, float your hands. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Shift your weight to your left foot. Stomp your right foot out in front of you, bending your knee as you land, finding Crescent Lunge. So Crescent Lunge is just a fancy yoga term for saying a high lunge here. You can bring your hands to your hips if that feels good. The plant in the way. So if you notice your right hip kind of shifting over to the right side, see if you can pull your left hip back up so that your hip bones are like headlights pointing forward and even. If you want, you can keep your arms up overhead. We'll get into our side body here. So again, we're not going to go into too much of a workout today since it really is a stretch class. We'll get into our psoas, the inner thigh, the side body here. So you can rest your right hand on your thigh. Inhale, left arm up. Reach over to the side. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, back to center. Whew. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, rotate your back heel down. We're rotating into triangle pose. But first, warrior two. So arms out at a T. Right knee still bent, stacked over your ankle. Left heel behind you, pressing into your mat. Exhale, straighten your front knee. Micro bend here so you don't stress out your joints. Lean forward with your right hand. I always crack my hips here when I do this pose. And your right hand can come to your shin. Or if that feels too intense, you can rest on your hip, your thigh, again with a micro bend here. Or maybe you have a handy support system near you. You can rest your hand on top of that. Maybe a chair, a block, whatever it is, a bunch of towels. So we're getting into our inner thigh here. Now exhale, rebend your front knee. Rise back up using your core, squeezing your belly. Inhale, dip your hands back, reverse. Opening up the right side of your body here. Exhale, release your hands. Whew. Back down to your mat. Rotating your back heel. So now you're in a low lunge. Inhale, step your left foot to meet your right. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift with your back flat. Squeeze your belly. Big lion's breath on your exhale. One more of those. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, lion's breath. Stick out your tongue. Bend your knees deeply. Slowly rise up to standing. Shrug your shoulder blades down your back. Inhale, float your hands. Exhale, hands to your heart. And reverse the movement here. Doing the other side. So this time step back with your right foot. Ooh. Finding your crescent lunge on your left. Again, you can reach your hands up to the sky if that feels good. Bring them to your hips. Maybe to start, just checking in with your hip bones. So if you can wiggle your hips a little bit here, just find neutral. So your hip bones are meeting each other. Maybe lift your right hip a little bit up. We tend to sink into it here. You can really get the full benefits of the pose if they're even. Show your shoulder blades down your back. Inhale, maybe lift them up. Exhale, release your left hand down by your thigh. Right arm stretches over towards your left. So you're getting into your groin area, your psoas, hip flexor. Exhale, release it down. Nice. Inhale, open up for warrior two. So right heel comes down towards your mat. Toes are slightly pointing towards your navel, but mostly open. Left knee bent nice and deeply here, either right on top of your ankle or slightly behind. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, lean forward, straighten your knee as much as feels okay to your body, then tip your hands. I always feel it right here at the base of my hip. This is a great way to stretch your low back. Oftentimes we think of just the front of our, or I guess the main portion of our back and not the sides of our low back, but these can get really tight too. So again, modifications welcome here. You can just rest your hand on your thigh. You don't want to put pressure on your knee though. Or maybe you have that handy support in your thigh. Take a deep breath in. Exhale out. Squeeze your belly to support you. Bend your knee. Press into your heel. Rise up. Warrior two. Inhale, tip your hands back, lifting your left arm overhead, opening up your heart here. See if you can engage your belly still to support your back. So maybe squeezing your belly button up and in. Exhale, windmill your hands down to your mat, rotating your back heel, finding a low lunge. Take a deep breath here. Right meets left. Forward fold. If it feels good, you can flap or bring your hands to your shins, finding a flat back. Then exhale, flap your whole body, melting down. Breathe out through your mouth here. Inhale, flat back. Exhale out your mouth. Really side out. This is great for stress relief. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, shake it out. Nice. Inhale, plant your hands. You can step back, finding our kneeling pose, all fours, tabletop. Dip your belly down for cow pose. Exhale, round your back for cat. Ooh. Two options here. You can go into full rabbit, so lowering the tops of your feet to your mat, pressing your heels to meet, or your hips to meet your heels, sweeping your arms back behind you, going into child's pose with your arms behind you. Tuck your chin really far into your chest. Option to move into rabbit pose, pressing the weight into the top of your head in your mat. Press your arms into your mat, round your upper back, lift your hips. Rabbit pose, if you want to add more, you can shift your weight onto your tippy toes, tucking them underneath your heels, maybe catching your heels, rounding your back even more. Make sure that your shoulders are down your back here. So rather than encroaching on your ears, create a lot of space in your neck. Exhale, melt, let it go. Inhale, roll yourself up to a seat. Kick your legs out in front of you. Give them a good pat down. Find a cross-legged seat. Turning on to one of my favorite shoulder release variations, since I know that was a big request today. So go ahead and float your arms out in front of you like a zombie. Inhale, bend your right elbow, tuck it into your left, finding eagle arms. So making basically an X with your arms here. See if you can shrug your shoulder blades down rather than keeping them up towards your ears. Just plugging them into your back. Forward so you can see without that tree. Elbows maybe in line with your shoulders if you can, or slightly higher. You may start to feel it in your shoulders. If you want to increase the intensity though, you can bring your palms to touch, but not if that means crunching in and rounding your back. So keep your hands nice and wide so that you can feel a stretch in your shoulders. Breathe in. If you want to add on, float your elbows up as you inhale. Increasing intensity, exhale, tuck your elbows in towards your belly, maybe squeezing your core. Again, you can just stay still if this is too much. Inhale, lift up. We're doing one more. Exhale, crunch it in. Ooh, I definitely feel this one. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, reach back behind you, thumbs down, palms away. Little pulse here, opening up your bicep. Exhale, let it go. Whew, shimmy your shoulders. Let's switch sides. Inhale, arms out in front of you. Exhale, left elbow tucks inside right. So again, keeping your arms nice and wide, looking out between them. Shrug your shoulder blades down your back, squeeze your belly in. Take a deep breath in, lift your elbows up in line with your shoulders or maybe slightly above for more intensity. Exhale, squeeze your belly as you crunch in. Option here, again, you can just stay, that feels better. Inhale, float your elbows up, gazing up. Exhale, crunch it in. Inhale, come back to center. So you see we're really moving into that tight spot right underneath your shoulder blade. Exhale, open your arms out wide, thumbs go down, palms back, little pulse. Inhale, come back to center, and exhale, let it go. We're gonna move on to our backs. Coming into the last few minutes of class. So bend your knees here. You can wrap your hands around your shins. If you want a little bit of core work, slowly lower down. If you are tired and just ready to rest, you can just melt all the way down to your back. Tuck your knees into your chest. Hello, Sierra. Tuck your knees into your chest here. Give yourself a big old squeeze, wrapping your arms around your shin bones, maybe bringing your head up to touch your knees or closer, if that feels good. Exhale, release your body to your mat. Couple of twist options here. You can open your arms into goalpost, so bending at your elbows, my personal favorite. You can just flop your knees over towards your right. If that feels too intense on your low back, scoot your body so it's further on the left side of your mat before you flop, and that keeps your spine a little bit straighter. You can also bring your knees closer to your chest to release any tension there, or if you need more space, you can open them up wider, further away from your chest. Whatever feels good to you. If it feels good, you can also gaze in the opposite direction over your left shoulder. Take a deep belly breath in, pushing it out in front of you. Exhale out your mouth. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, same thing, other side. So if you want, you can switch your hips over to the right side of your mat before you flop. Or you can just tip them over, gazing in the opposite direction. Or maybe just you have your face pressed against a small dog, in my case. Take a deep breath in. Exhale out. One more deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, slowly bring your knees back to center. Plug them in maybe one more time. If it's calling to you, you can do happy baby. So bending your knees, maybe catching your ankles behind your thighs, or maybe all the way up to the outsides of your feet. No one option is better than the other. It's just whatever feels good to your body. The whole point of happy baby is to have your back flat on the mat. So if you're reaching up to catch your feet and your pelvis lifts up, then you're missing out on this pose. So just melt it back down, maybe catch behind your legs here. Exhale, release your legs out long. Finding our final resting pose, take a deep breath in, maybe squeeze your glutes, maybe reach your arms overhead. Exhale out your mouth, melting your arms by your sides, or if it feels better, you can bend your knees. Just go ahead and get cozy for a couple of breaths. I'm going to close class with a little mindful moment here. I have some singing bowls. So go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath into your belly. Exhale out your mouth. Take another deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. Go ahead and check in with your body now. Just noticing how you're feeling. Noticing if there's any residual tension. Maybe your heart rate is elevated. Let's see if you can just observe what's happening here without judgment. Maybe there was a pose that was particularly challenging for you today. Maybe because you were tight, or it was new or uncomfortable. Go ahead and just acknowledge that within yourself that you did it. You did the version of it that you could. And that's what counts. Now maybe acknowledge that maybe there was a pose or a breath or a feeling that you had during today's movement that felt really good in your body. Maybe it felt satisfying or releasing or challenging in a good way. Just acknowledge that, how that felt. And thank your body for being here for you to experience it. Maybe take one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly, just feeling the movement of your breath now. And take another deep breath in, filling your entire being up. Exhale out your mouth. Let it go. Thank you for attending today's yoga session, our small group today. I honor each of you, appreciate you. Hope that helps you feel a little bit more rested today. A beautiful new week. I'll see you soon. Namaste.